Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to export this image or render into After Effects and then bring it back to Blender and maintaining all the colors just the way the original file or render was. So the first thing that I did was go to render and then go all the way down to color management. And I did change the settings, the view transformation. I changed it to ACES 2.0, and the working space I changed it to ACEScg. And I prefer to work on these settings, but the concept is the same if you are using the default mode from Blender. By the way, I'm using the Blender 5.0, so I have access to these new color spaces. So once I have this set up, I just export it into an EXR. Nothing fancy. I just using a render layer and a file output, and yeah, just making it half or full float. Doesn't matter. A little bit of compression just to make it the file smaller. But it basically you can do it from the output here. And once I did that, let me open a new file here. I'll save it. Once I did that, I just imported the EXR into After Effects, and you will see that it's completely different from the original. And this is because we need to set up a few things, just as in Blender. So the first thing that I did was changing the color in the project settings, and I go to color and the OCO configuration. Instead of using 1.2.2, I use custom and select Blender config file, which is in program files, Blender Foundation. I'm using Blender 5.0, data files, color management, and config.oco. And the working space, just as in Blender, I'm using ACEScg, which is correct, ACEScg. And the display color space is sRGB standard. But in this case, I want to look through the ACES 2.0 because the transformation here is ACES 2.0. So the viewer will be ACES 2.0. And now it's almost there, but if I compare it to the version from Blender, it's not the same. The colors are not the same, but what I can do is just select the file in the Explorer and click Main, go to Color, and preserve RGB. And now if I compare it to Blender, see that it is the same. Now this is great. The only problem is that if I want to import other images from other sources, for example, I have this concept. If I scale it down, you'll see that it's washed out, but the original image looks different. So if I open this would be the original image, and this would be when I imported into After Effects. Now this change happened because I modified in the entire project, and the color display is no longer sRGB normally, but ACES 2.0. So what I have to do is tell After Effects that import this image as sRGB and transform it into the correct color space, which is the working space would be ACEScg. So if I select an effect and select this also color space transformation, and the input color space is not ACEScg because this is a PNG, it would be sRGB. But I'm not going to use the normal sRGB, I'm going to use the ACES 2.0 sRGB. And now if you compare it, it's the same image, the same colors. And now the only problem is that every JPEG or even EXR with a different color space, I have to add this effect and transform it into the correct color space. Like if it's a different color space, I have to select which color, the original color space, and then output a ACEScg. But I think this is a good way to do it, because if I export this as EXR again, I will have to activate the preserve RGB. We don't want to apply the color space again. And then export. Save it here and test from After Effects. And I think I will render a sequence. And maybe I can change it just to render one frame. Well, never mind. I'm just gonna render and then stop it. Now I have a sequence. I don't need all these files. Just need the first one. And if I import into Blender again, I'll just create an image and open this one. Now you'll see that it has the image and is exactly the same as the original file. So this is the render, and this is the EXR from After Effects. So I can do some comp in After Effects using this workflow and then export everything into an EXR just as it was from Blender. Now there is another method that might be easier in case you want to export everything from After Effects and you don't want to export anything else into another software. And in this case, I will just delete the effects here, and in the project settings, I won't use any display colored view color space or display color space. I'll set it up to none. So it's just there is nothing that is transforming the colors. So you will see that without the effects, the transformation, the PNG is just as the same as in the original. But now the render has some issues. So for this, I will use this OCO displace transformation. And in this case, the linear ACEScg is fine. This is the input. The displace sRGB is correct. But the view transform, I want ACES 2.0. And now if I compare it to the original Blender, you'll see that it's correct. And just to make sure, I also have a PNG, not an EXR, that already have the color space transformation added. Now it's a little bit different, but just because I need to interpret footage and then preserve RGB. And now you will see this is the PNG, this is the EXR, and they look exactly the same. So this, and then you can export this as a movie clip without having to worry about anymore about the color spaces if you want to have a final output from this. Yeah, thank you.